Welcome to the Roy Matlock Jr. Money and Business Hours, where he'll help you fix your finances once and for all. To reach Roy, call 615-843-2999. That is 615-843-2999, or visit RoyMatlockJr.com. Now, here's your host.
All right, Roy Matlock Jr. here, and we are talking money as we do every week. And this show today is a couple pieces. So if you're out there right now and you're listening and you like what you hear from a financial standpoint, you've been learning. I've been doing this for, many years, and I keep coming back, and, I like helping people, that kind of thing. I want you to stay tuned. Later in the show, I'm going to talk to you about our system that we have brought in literally, people from every walk of life to where they can learn how to, not only take care of their finances from the inside of a financial advisory firm, but also become one of our partners and get licensed. And, I have a whole training system for financial advisors, and or you can have a side gig. And I think today, I talk to people all the time. I say, how much is a lot of money today? And it used to be, if you made $100,000 a year, you were like kicking it. And now, things are expensive, and people are always looking for better ways to, make some extra income, maybe turn their extra income into a business or career change. I'm going to be talking about that later in the show because here's what's going on right now. Most people, they don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because nobody ever sat down with them and showed them a plan. I see people cruising along throughout their life, and I see mistakes being made all the time that quite frankly, it's sad when you put effort in and you end up not getting outcomes with your money, and you're struggling and things like that. And this is not just people that don't make money. I see it the same with people that are making money, all right, at all levels, that, they make, bad decisions when it comes to their money. And one of the things that I have also learned is that just because you know how to make money doesn't mean that you know how to handle the money you make. And so it's a combination of everything. And people are overwhelmed by retirement confusion, taxes, insurance, getting out of debt. You got college education. If you've got kids, you've got, I hear people all the time that call in and they talk to us, and they're like, yeah, I can get these two kids out of college and all that kind of stuff. Well, getting them out of college, I remember when my daughter was born, this is 34 years ago, I put $10,000 into a college fund. That was the starting point. And when college came around, 4 years private school, I think it was $60,000 a year at that time. All was paid but $20,000 at the end. And so it was one of those deals that, planning mattered. And that's what we always do. And so the average American has pieces put together. Maybe they got the right insurance, but they don't have a good investment plan, or maybe they started their 401k, but they don't have it in the proper allocations. And so what I do and what my team does is we go out and we create plans. We are a fiduciary. What that means is that, we're by law and our license to act in your best interest. We're not tied to any one company when it comes to any one product, any of that kind of stuff. And so I tell people, when it comes to money, you only need to call us, and we can give you advice and education and get you situated. So how do we go about doing it? I've always operated under the same philosophy and doing this for literally, I think I really came up and originated the mindset of the defense and the offense maybe 35 years ago, because I'm a sports fan. I love, watching sports. I play a lot of golf, and I play, competitive stuff, and I've always done that. Played baseball coming up, and football, all the different things. And one of the things that I learned is that one of the ways to win when it comes to sports is to just not give it away to the other person or the other team. And the way you do that is you're smart. You play defense. You don't allow the other team to easily score on you. And if you do that, you build you don't have to perform as well on the offense because you're not always digging yourself out of a hole. I play competitive golf, and one of the most important things in competitive golf is don't make a big number. And usually when you make a big number, that means you're making a double bogey or something like that. It's because you took a chance when you should have just said, you know what, just not going to make a big number. I'm just going to get myself back out of trouble into a decent spot and take what I get, but I'm not going to have a big number. What is a big number when you're defense? You get in debt. You go get yourself tied into, big house payments that you can't afford, or car payments that you should have never bought. Or then what happens, usually the car payments and the house payment becomes the credit card payment, because now things happen and you are, making, you've got maintenance that you got to do, or you had some kind of emergency come up and you didn't have the money. And so then the credit cards come in, and before you know it, you're underwater, and every month you're spending more than you make. And then it's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? For me, I did all that before I got in the business. And then once I understood what was going on, I had 2 car payments and I had a house payment I couldn't afford. So what did I do? I finally got out from underneath the 2 car payments, and I bought 2 old cars that I was able to take and cut 3 years of car payments into 1 year of car payments. And eventually I got rid of the car payments. And that was, 87. So I don't remember. And I was like, you know what? I'm not having car payments. I'm not doing that anymore. And so when you don't have a car payment, then you know what you do? You make a payment to yourself. And when it's time to replace your car, you get another car and you just pay cash for it and be done with it. I learned other things. Don't buy new cars. Why? Because why do I want to give 25% to depreciation driving it off the lot? Because it smells good. A few months later, you're driving a used car anyway. So I learned that, and I learned to have a budget. And once I learned the budget and how you budget and how you set things up, then I put myself in a good spot. And so if you're listening now, this is the foundation of what we do. We teach people a defense and an offense. I'm going to get into more of that as we come out of the break. But if you're thinking about getting if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and you want to get something fixed, I would encourage you to visit RoyMatlockJr.com. And here's what we do. We meet with people. First off, a simple phone call. You go to the website, fill out a form. Someone will reach out to you and do a short phone call. And the first thing I do when I talk to people is I say, so why are you calling? What's your goal? And everybody seems to have something. And then from there, we find out, where you're at, where you want to be, and we put together plans. But my name is Roy Matlock Jr. You're listening to the Money and Business Hour. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Welcome to the Roy Matlock Jr. Money and Business Hours, where he'll help you fix your finances once and for all. To reach Roy, call 615-843-2999. That is 615-843-2999, or visit RoyMatlockJr.com. Now, here's your host, Roy.
All right, we're back, segment 2, and today is kind of a dual-purpose day. If you are listening in right now, I want you to just stay with me, because we are expanding. One of the reasons we're expanding our advisor base is because there's just not enough qualified people out there helping families financially today. The industry is one of the largest industries in the world, and finding good financial advice. Most people, just to give you an example, about 2/3 of America doesn't have a will or a trust set up, and so as if we're not going to get sick or die. Okay, and they don't have anything set up. And so we know the outcome is going to be there, but they just never have done it. And so that's part of putting in place a plan. And so later in the show, I'm going to talk about how someone can start with me in my system. And I say my system, my team. We teach, train, provide technology, education, everything that you can imagine that you would want in a business. And it costs about $100 a month to get involved with us. And that $100, we pay for your license. We do everything. And so if you want to find out more, you can go to join the team at RoyMatlockJr.com. But we are expanding. Nashville's blowing up everywhere. And quite frankly, there's more business out there than we can get around to. So anyway, the defense, as I came out of the break, is keeping you from losing. I talked about, budgets and emergency funds and things like that. As simple as that sounds, people don't do it. All right. Tax strategies. Are you taking advantage of, the first thing I always see is people get big tax refunds. And I'm like, well, how much did that make you? You could have gotten it in your paycheck and invested it. Instead, you loaned it to the government, for a year interest free. So I can go on and on and on. But the defense is protect your income, protect your assets, avoid mistakes. How do you protect your income? First thing I always tell people is you have to have term life insurance. I mean, that's the starting point, is term life insurance. Cheapest insurance you can buy. If you have kids and debt, and mortgages and stuff like that, it'll blow your mind what $100 a month will do for someone that's in decent health, how much coverage you can get that would protect your family if something happened. Nowadays, a lot of the policies, and we have these, you can get them issued. We have a service right now that you can get term insurance up to $2 million if you're healthy. And no blood work, no physical. AI does the underwriting, and it gets issued in about 10 minutes, and you're covered. And you're able to do that. And that one includes a do-it-yourself will and trust. And it includes financial and medical power of attorney. So I tell people it's like no excuse to not take care of your family. A lot of the insurance policies today have what's called living benefits. That means if you get sick, have a critical, chronic, or terminal illness, that same insurance policy will give you up to 90% of the death benefit while you're living. All right, so let's say you're incapacitated, you can't do anything. You're able to get that death benefit when you need it while you're alive. And so there's all these different products out there. We have access to everything when it comes to the insurance market. If you're buying car insurance and home insurance, we have access to that, to where you can get the right stuff, you get the right deductibles, and get rid of the junk fees, and get the right liabilities, and buy the umbrella policies, and get a competitive rate. And because we shop it, and we have access to all that, so all these different things go into buying and protecting yourself. Defense. What is another defensive position? Your health insurance. I always bought high deductible health insurance. Now I buy health share. I say that. I just turned 65. My health share ended. So we got a old people's insurance, Medicare. I just joined that this year. But the point being is that you have to protect yourself. If you have an income, you may buy disability insurance, or it may be through your work. There's all these different things that cause you to be in a position to where one day your family doesn't get sideswiped by an accident or a death or a disability, or somebody sues you, and we just protect all that. So we start with a solid defense. It might involve long-term care as you get older. You may want to have something that would protect, if your assets are not big enough to withstand a nursing home type scenario. Especially if you're married, when you go into a nursing home or anything like that, it's like you got a divorce, but you didn't get a divorce because one person's home and the other person is being taken care of somewhere else. So that is the defense. So we go in, and when we work with our advisors, we train. We have about 3 hours a week that we train every week on, and we archive it. We do it online and through Zoom, and then you can rewatch it and stuff like that. So our advisors, if you were to, as this show I've been mentioning, where it's expanding our advisor network, if you wanted to find out more about that and how we do it, we train all the time. There's no place you're going to be able to find more training. I think I've got, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years of 3 hours a week of advisor training that's in our archives, where we teach our people what to do when they meet with people. So when they walk in and have an appointment with any of our reps, the reps know what they're doing. And if you meet with me, obviously you listen to me all the time. I'm pretty up to speed when it comes to anything having to do with money. And so that's the defensive position. You go to the offense. This is where we start having fun. We start accumulating money. We take advantage of all the things that make sense, like, 401ks and 403bs, where you get matching funds. Where do we invest that money to where we can get the best rate of return? I was doing one of my trainings yesterday for one of my advisors, and I was like, here's a fund that since 1950 has averaged 12%. It's averaged 12% for the last 15 years, 10 years. It's done more than that, 5, 3, 1. It gets about 12%. It's been doing it forever. And so what does that mean? That means your money doubles every 6 years if you got 12%. Now, at the same time, if you didn't know where to go, you could put your money at the bank, and it doubles about every 25 years at 3%, 24 years. And so would you rather double your money every 6 years or double your money every 24 years? That's pretty simple. And so you're doing the same work. Matter of fact, you could be earning the same amount of money as the person next to you, and one of them just has their money in places that have growth opportunities versus stuff that doesn't. And so we go in and we do that. That's part of this offensive strategy. Everyone should own a Roth IRA. Everyone. Why would you not own a Roth IRA? All right. By doing a Roth IRA, it allows you to set up tax-free income. All right. So it's after tax. If you make a lot of money, what I mean by that, if you make, making $250 and up and you're covered by a retirement plan, you can do what's called a backdoor Roth. And the way the backdoor Roth is you throw your money in there, and that money is an after-tax, what's called a traditional after-tax, and then the next day we convert it to a Roth. And as a result, you now have a Roth IRA in addition to funding your 401k. So there's Roth strategies. It may be that when you retire, you want to convert some of your traditional to Roth. You have on the offense side, you've got investment management, asset allocation. What is asset allocation? What's your time horizon? What's your risk tolerance? How are you going to feel if we have a 2007 42% drop in your all stock fund before it comes back? People tell me, that, they really, if I, one of the tell-alls is I say, how do you have your 401k, your life savings? What's your allocation? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, well, that's not the best answer. We need to have the right answer. We need to make sure that we're doing the right things. And so all these kind of things, if you're self-employed, how do you go about doing it? All right. Are you buying real estate correctly? Is it really better to buy, than to rent right now in your current situation? Would you be better if you're undecided where you want to live? Would you be better off just renting for a little while, check out the area, see if you like it better before you buy something, and then you decide you don't like it and you sell it? So there's all these different advice categories that we work with. If you're listening today, visit RoyMatlockJr.com. We can help you with a free consultation, or maybe join our team and become an advisor. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Roy Matlock Jr. Money and Business Hours, where he'll help you fix your finances once and for all. To reach Roy, call 615-843-2999. That is 615-843-2999, or visit RoyMatlockJr.com. Now, here's your host, Roy.
All right, segment 3, if you're just tuning in, today's show's kind of a combination of what do we do, and then for some of you out there right now, you are looking for a way to expand your horizons, maybe earn some additional income in something that would allow you to build a new business and a new career. We are expanding all over the country, our advisor force, and so I would encourage you to visit RoyMatlockJr.com if you have, if you've got the inkling of motivation and you like what you're listening to right now. We are all about helping people with their money. And it's a great way for someone to not only come in and learn about money from the inside of an advisory firm, but also have a way to, have that side gig that would allow you to make some additional income where you could save some money. I always tell my part-timers, come in here and everything you make with us, bank it. Put it to work in the things that you know how to do, in investments and things like that you'll learn how to do. And so we put together plans for people, offense and a defense. The defense we talked about, if you're tuning in now, go to the podcast. I covered a lot of that in the first segment of this show. You can always visit the Roy Matlock Jr. Money Business Hour podcast. We're on every single, platform there is pretty much that matters, and you can learn that. And so we are finishing up the offense. And when I talk about finishing there we go, the offense, we go in and we start looking at investment management. Where do you put your money? If you've got a 401k, where should it be? I always tell people that if you don't have anyone helping you, step number one is find what is called a target date or lifestyle type fund. So what does that mean? Your funds, you'll see these. You'll take it like this. You take 65 plus your birth year. So for easy math, you would go in and you would say, I was born in 2000 for my math. So I'm going to look at the 2065 target date. And it's going to manage my money as if my target to retire was 2065. It's going to be very growth oriented. If you look at it, it's going to end up being mostly stocks with the idea that long term, you've got a big horizon and we're hoping the market's going to dip and you're going to be buying every month and so on. So there's your 2065 for someone born in 2000. Well, let's push forward a little bit and let's say that you were born in 1980. All right. You might buy 2045 target date. If you were born in 1970, you buy 2035. Now, that same account that started out all stocks, that 2065 account, by 20 years from now, it's going to be a little less aggressive. 30 years from now, it's going to be even more on the conservative side. And then when you get out to within 10 years, you're going to see it turn into like a stock bond 50-50 type portfolio. That's the best way to manage if you don't have someone helping you and understand how to do it. Now, what I always like to do is get people, I don't like targets long term because they get too conservative when you retire. However, if you're not with someone helping you choose your funds, I would choose the target date. That's an example of a strategy that will help you move in the right direction with your retirement plans. Of course, we're always going to get matching funds. We want to take advantage of that. In many cases, I'm advising people to take the deduction when on their 401k and then take the tax savings, and that could even fund their Roth IRA. All right, so it's kind of like a buy one, get one free to where you get both of it. So the tax savings is enough to put some money into a Roth IRA. If you own a business, there's SEPs and solo 401ks. Those are things that you can do that are mainly for independent contractor type businesses. Long and short of it is you can put about 25% of your money into a SEP of your profit up to almost $70,000 and deduct it. That's a great way to do it if you don't have employees. You also have a solo 401k, which allows you to put a bigger percentage in. So you just start looking at all these different things that allow you to move forward on the offense side. If you're a small business owner and you want to maintain your employee staff, did you know that you can get tax credits for setting up new 401ks? I mean, a lot of business owners didn't know that. We can help you do that. And we set up small business plans for new businesses or existing businesses that are wanting to, keep their employees. Employee benefits. You're competing with big business. They provide 401ks and matching funds. If you do a 401k and you'll be doing the matching funds. The matching funds are tax deductible, so they don't cost you as much as you might think. You also get to put the money away for you, maybe your spouse. So you get a big deduction there. Additionally, you're going to get tax credits that are going to basically offset the matching funds when you set up new 401k. So if you're interested in that as a business owner, you should reach out to us. We can help you there. And so the long and short of it is there's strategies out there. I have people that buy rental properties. Nothing wrong at all with rental properties. Just understand that's a business. And it's a rental business, and you have to run it like a business. You have to manage it. You have to market it. You have to collect on it. Everything a business that would, any type of business would have. And so if you want to do real estate, I've been to many real estate conferences. I grew up around real estate. My dad had, and mom and dad had real estate. Matter of fact, right about the time my dad passed away, I had close to 40 properties and did well with that. And so if you want to do that, it's a game for professionals. So you need to stick your toes in it, learn how to do it, and get there. But the long-term plan is to get to what I call do-nothing money. And do-nothing money is money that comes in automatically. It's investment money. I like, my experience is I don't do rental properties. The reason I don't is because I have to deal with them, and I don't want to deal with them. And so we do investment accounts, and the investment accounts, once you get to a certain point, you are what's called financially independent. What is financial independent? That's when you say, well, at 4% on my stock and bond fund, I've got $2 million. I get $80,000 a year plus Social Security. And based on 4%, if I pull that and we get decent returns and I'm getting 6 or 7 or 8%, I get a little inflation bump each year. So I know now between my Social Security and my $2 million, I got $150,000 a year, give or take, coming in. Do nothing. That's pretty good. What do I have to do to get that? Oh, I just look at the beginning of the month and I say, oh, that's cool. It got deposited. All right. And I work with a lot of families right now that's what we do. We have the accumulation plan that they've done all these years. And then they're like, so what do I do when I retire? How am I going to get this money? So, well, we're going to make a deposit in your account every month and you don't have to do nothing. That's called do-nothing money. Wouldn't everyone like to have do-nothing money? I think do-nothing money is the only way to go, where you don't have to do nothing for it. You just have your account and you do nothing. How do you get to having do-nothing money? You have to do something. What do you have to do? You have to have a plan. And what I always tell people is this, the first plan. What is the very first plan? Very first plan that I would tell someone is this. Fix it if you die and put a plan in place if you live. What is that? We buy term life insurance. That way, if anything happens, if you add the living benefits to it now, that gives you additional protection should you get sick and things like that, where you can get some of the death benefit. And you combine it with a automatic draft that comes out of your checking account or your payroll into a tax-deferred, either Roth or a tax-deductible 401k account. And if you do that, you have started on your plan of financial independence. My name is Roy Matlock Jr. Stick with me. We'll be talking more money. Go to roymatlockjr.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Roy Matlock Jr. Money and Business Hours, where he'll help you fix your finances once and for all. To reach Roy, call 615-843-2999. That is 615-843-2999, or visit roymatlockjr.com. Now, here's your host, Roy.
All right, Roy Matlock Jr. here, and we are finishing up a segment today, and it's a little bit different. And what we've been talking about is, for those of you that are tuning in now, we are expanding our business. I've always, I love doing what I'm doing, and what I really want to do is just, help more people. And the way I help more people is I have more people out there helping people get their finances straight. Been doing this for 40 years. Never see myself retiring. I have a great life as it stands. But, one of the best parts about finding something you like to do is it's not work. And so you get yourself in a position where you find something you like, and then you get good at it. I read and study. I do that every day. I've been doing that forever. And it allows me to have fun making money, helping people get their finances straight. So if you're considering, if you wake up on Monday morning not happy about where you're at, not making what you're wanting to make, if you don't like it, you're never going to make any money. You're never going to get ahead. And so one of the keys to, your finances is your income. The other is what you do with your income. And so we teach people how to handle their money as a financial advisor. But the demand for that is massive. About a third of the population are baby boomers born in 1946 to 1964. They are moving into the stage of their life that they need a lot of guidance. For the longest time, accumulating money is easy. All you have to do is, set it up and automate it. You get a little bit of help, and we do that, and we put people into automated plans to where they're putting money into growth-type investments and IRAs and things like that. We do that for people. And we're fiduciaries, as I mentioned earlier, so we have access to everything out there listed, and we go out and we pick and choose for you and put you in what we believe to be the best things out there. And we do the same thing. We have an insurance marketplace that we go out and we shop all the defensive products for you. We're not tied to any one company or any one product. So we've got it all that way. And then we have advice-driven things where we have referrals to tax and wills and trust and things of that nature if we don't actually do it. And so the demand is massive for help and advice. And so right now we are in the middle of a big-time expansion. We've got a training system that if you have ever considered and you've got an inkling of motivation, I would tell you we probably got the best thing in town anywhere to help you not only get your finances straight, but also learn about how it works and then take it out to the masses of people that need our help. Small business owners nowadays are, one of the things that if you're a business owner, you might have heard the thing called a roll-up. What is a roll-up? That's where private equity goes in and buys industries. They're buying all of these industries in different small businesses. So, for instance, if you have a heating and air company, there's companies out there that are buying heating and air companies everywhere. And there's, if you are a CPA, there's companies buying CPA practices. If you're a financial advisor, they're out there buying financial advisory practices. And so now what's happening is business owners that are getting toward retirement age, it's time for them to make a decision. Do they want to continue, with the business themselves? Some people have legacies where they can bring their children in, things like that. Others want to sell. And what do they do when they sell? How do they go about doing it? How do they, if they have partnerships, how do they manage that? All these things are things that we go in and we work with small businesses to optimize their exit. We work with small businesses to optimize their business while they're, owning it and, to expand it, to get it ready. We work with consumers getting started. So basically from birth to death, that is our business model. And so people are changing jobs, I think 10 to 12 times, in their lifetime. We do 401k rollovers. So if you have left a job, and you've got a 401k, you don't want to leave it unmanaged. So we do that for people. All of these things are the things that we do. And we have professionals that teach you. We have a training system. If you wanted to get involved with us, I would encourage you to go to RoyMatlockJr.com, look at Join the Team. We have a system, and that system is pure education-based, long-term relation-based, that we work with our advisors to build lifetime relationships. And so I want to get a little bit more detail into it. If you are listening now and you're saying, all right, I got a little motivational bone in my body. I'd like to make some extra income, especially with the way things are. I might want to make a career change. I like dealing with money. What would you get if you got involved with us? And I'm giving you an overview. And if you go to RoyMatlockJr.com, we've got a 7-part overview that you'll be able to log into, get every single question handled. And then we have an onboarding specialist that we will meet with you, get your background and information like that. We then walk you through all of our systems, and our training systems are everything from getting licensed. We have all of the processes and the materials and everything that goes along with that. We have our own in-house proprietary, we call it it's called a customer relationship management system. That system, we have a video that you'll be able to look at. But the long and short of that is that in 2007, I had been off the air from my early days with Dave Ramsey, and we had a gigantic 40,000 person client base, clients all over. And I'm like, how can I stay in touch? And I started building out video and email marketing and all those type of systems into one big support system. And so we have that tool for all of our reps. It's part of what we do. We have mentorship programs that you will be able to actually observe appointments so you can see in action. For instance, maybe you would watch me do an appointment. I'm not doing as many of those now as I did, but we have other advisors that you would be able to do that. And we provide a whole system. We then teach you products so you can actually understand things like life insurance, disability income insurance, and home and auto and liability insurance and business insurance, and how does Social Security work, and everything to do with investment management, from Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, deductible 401ks, anything that has to do with that. Then we go into investment management, asset allocation. We have models. All of this is part of what we're doing. So if you're listening now, I'm going to give some examples of different people that we've had come in that have made, sideline businesses and career changes, helping people when it comes to their money. So number one, if you care about people, and I have a lot of people, they say, man, I love this stuff because I can see what they did. I'm proud of this. My family, I've got 3 sisters and I've got a brother, and my mother and father, were my first clients, and my mother passed away recently and made it to 102. The great news about her making it to 102 was they retired at 60, sold a business. We handled their money the whole time. And not only did she live great for 42 years, left behind money and inheritance to each of us, which is one of the great things about handling your money well. And the cool part is none of my family, my immediate family, my sisters and my brother, none of us needed it. And so as a result, it's just a legacy being built because of good financial planning. So if you care about your family and you care about helping other people, you might be a good fit for us. If you're a good communicator, if you're the people person, hey, that's good. If you're coachable, if you like listening and you're good at that, we can help you. We have a lot of entrepreneurial type people that work with us, a lot of small business owners, real estate agents, because they see this as a way to add more value to their existing, client base. I always tell a realtor, if you get involved with me, you got something to talk about before, during, and after the real estate sale. And you can actually be an advisor rather than just selling real estate. You can actually be a financial advisor. And so we have mortgage people that have gotten involved with us. We have insurance agents that want to broaden their planning type things, CPAs and tax professionals. They're always getting different types of questions. And, we work directly with CPAs and, tax people. It's amazing how many times, I have conversations with my clients and their tax advisor. And in many cases, I get good information from the tax advisors. And in many cases, I'm like, you know what? You need to get a new tax advisor. They don't know what they're doing. And so we look for, referral partnerships like that. We have a lot of, teachers and coaches and people that came out of professional careers like that. If you have a built-in client base of small businesses, you might be a good one. We've had a lot of, military people, law enforcement. I can go on and on and on. But the most important thing is you're looking to learn. And if you'd like to find out more, you can be first in line with our interview process. Go to roymatlockjr.com. You can go to what is called Join the Team. You will in turn be given access to a series. I think it's 7 videos that I did. In those 7 videos, literally answer every question. You'll see our tech tools. You'll see everything that happens to go along with it. And so here's what we do. We build plans and we build people. That's what we do. I have always told my reps, the more money you make, it's in direct proportion to the number of people that you have been able to help get their plan in place. And so we have very clear, do the right thing type of mindset. Been in this town now for my whole life. And I like being able to walk around town and people say, hey, that guy's a good guy. And the way I did that was I went in and I said, let's set up things that make sense for people to get their finances in shape. And so in closing today, a couple things. Today's show has been a little different because we are expanding our business, and we always are expanding. We're all over the country as it stands. But if you are looking for something that you could do to maybe make a career change or just, make some extra cash and help some people, I would encourage you to go to RoyMatlockJr.com. If you're a client looking for, or a potential client looking for advice, reach out to us. We'll do a 20-minute phone call and find out if we're a good fit for you. With that being said, go visit RoyMatlockJr.com. Check our resources out. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.